Good morning, everybody. Glad you could make it back. Don't forget to subscribe and everything. Hit that bell. Anyway, today we're back at the front of the house. We didn't finish this because we were too busy trying to catch the rot, catch everything, get things sealed up before this cold came. Now today it's, I think it was 65 degrees. We have clouds, so it's staying warmer. The sun is starting to come out a little bit, which is fantastic. So today, because hopefully it's not going to rain on us, we're just going to fix this one short part in here, because right now the birds can get up in there and they go clear into the closet and into the bedroom. So we're going to seal this off, and Roy's going to have to go inside and seal off the extra weather that will come in, such as the cold. Or otherwise it doesn't leak or anything else, it's just the air. So anyway, for now, this is what we're up to today. So let's get at her. So what we're doing here is we have to knock that 2x4 off that the gutter would normally sit on, and we're going to change it to a 2x6, and then we're going to put the plywood underneath with one vent, so that way the attic can air itself out better than what it's been doing. So Roy's going to trim that rose bush, and they need trimmed in the fall anyway, normally approximately 16 to 18 inches, and then of course 12 inches when spring comes around. So here I have to trim the end of that 2x4, because our 2x6 is supposed to come up and hide the end of that, because eventually, next summer possibly, we're going to run a 2x6 up to the peak and back down again, and we don't want the end of that board to show. But that right now, that board was sticking out. So after about a million trips back and forth, trying to get each piece of board cut just right and everything, and with the magic of the camera, I got it fixed, and now we have a piece of plywood on the end of it, so that way when we cover the lower part of the eave there will be no birds going in, and this way we can keep our board level so we can kind of see it instead of having it match the 2x4s that are going along the roof. So Roy went back to the garage to trim them boards down, and now he's nailing them up into place. This is what we're going to install the plywood onto, so it'll look nice and clean. So here we're going to install the plywood up there. It's got the vent in already. All we have to do is just nail it into place. Okay, we got that up there. That was just a little short thing. What did it take? 15 minutes? That's just the magic of the camera, of course. I don't know how many times I had to go back and forth because all of our saws are in back, and just cutting that little bit because we're working on a new or an old construction, not brand new. Just the same, let's go see what other kind of trouble we can get into. We're going to the back of the house. Okay, back here, we need to put the plywood up inside the underneath of the eave and have the vents in. And we're probably not going to put that many vents, don't know yet, but we are going to put the can lights in. It's going to be approximately 10 feet per can, excluding one on each side of the door. It'll be 10 feet away from the door is what it's going to be approximately, going clear over to where the garage is. So that equals to 5 cans, I do believe. So I don't know if we're going to get done today, but let's get at her. So what our plan is we need to cut a 12-inch piece that's 8 foot long. We need 3 of them, and they're going to go on the edge of the roof for the underside. And then there's another level, and that'll be 2 feet that we're going to cut those to. And that's what we're going to install our vents and our lights, can lights, on. And here I didn't show it, but you saw us take that sheet That's approximately what, 3/8, and it's wood, very light grooved. We just soon had plain boards, but they didn't have such a thing at Home Depot, so this is what we kind of got stuck with. But I mean, it's nice looking, but that's what we're going to use. So after we get done hanging up the last piece that we needed, that was a 12-inch, Roy and I were discussing on just where we want to put the can lights. And like I say, from the door, we're going to put one on each side of the door, and it'll be 10 feet apart, which comes out pretty good for as long as this house is. And we're going to first run wiring, so that way it's not going to be hard to put them can lights in, and we'll wire them as we go. And of course, here I am trying to get it all nailed up so that way the wires don't slip out, and that's actually better and code, I do believe. Well, I'll show you just a little bit of what we went through for the very first one. Once you get the first one done, it seems to go a lot faster because you have your measurements, you know how far you want it away from the house, and that kind of stuff. And Roy's going to use his hole saw, but even with the hole saw, we still need to use a jigsaw because his blade isn't big enough. And now I'm measuring to make sure a vent will fit in there just right. Don't want it running into anything, so I'm doing this quick measurement. Like I said, the first time it's heck, but once you got that measurement in there, the next one's easier and easier. So now that we have the board up there, Roy, like I said before, is wiring in the can, so that way we're done with that one. And then on to the next one. We'll have the holes already done in it. We'll have them all put together, as in the vent, and the can light will be put in after we get it nailed up. After getting this one nailed up, Roy's got to put the wire holders in the can light, and then he can go ahead and get that put up there, get the wires in, and plug them right in, and ready to go to the next one. While Roy's busy wiring that one in, I'm busy cutting the vent and getting it ready for him to cut his hole for his can light in the next board. Roy goes inside to get an LED light. And what's nice about them is they're flush, so you don't have to worry about bugs going up inside and getting in your attic or anything else. So here's Roy's cutting his hole, and he's going to use the jigsaw to cut it bigger. So that way it'll be ready. I already have my vent hole cut, and I didn't screw the vent in. Normally Roy likes to do it, but finally I started doing it. We get this board hung, and then Roy's wiring in his can light. And while he's wiring in his can light, our 2x4s don't match up on these 8-foot boards we're putting up. They have been matching up, but from here on they don't. So I'm just cutting a piece of the OSB, and we're just going to put screws in to join the two together, and that way it'll still be one piece, we'll say, where it'll look halfway decent coming down instead of all chopped up just making the next 2x4. These can lights have 3 to 4 clips in there that you have to spring load, we'll say, and that holds the can right up in there. Well, we're done for the day. We have these lights here all up. We still have one more to do over here, but we don't have the roof extended out far enough yet, so when it does rain, it'll get on it, so we don't want to deal with that. There you go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights, and those are all LED, and Roy will get a treat, I think, at nighttime when he turns it on and let Puppy go to the bathroom, that he'll be amazed at actually how much light they do shed, even though they are a can light. So anyway, until next time, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you later. Anyway, until next time.